they think that I've had this great life, and when I explained to them that I was homeless, came from Puerto Rico at the age of 8, didn't know a lick of English, and look at me now, that your life experiences, bringing them to this job is crucial. Because my life experiences, because I grew up in North Philadelphia, because I still live in Norristown, known as an urban area, I'm neutral. I can go into Lincoln University as I can go into the hood and still speak and still be representing the Pennsylvania State Police. And when they say that we need people like you, that's very true. Because if I came in here today not looking like this, in my uniform, you would have never thought that I lived in North Philadelphia and that at some point I was homeless. Is that correct? Right.
And just a side note, being Spanish, I was blessed to have a Spanish officer. He took me to the right corner in North Philly, and we got those pinchos, and I've been in love with him ever since.
I'm not gonna make a comment because they've actually covered everything that I would have said, so, I'd be redundant. I'd be redundant. So these guys have covered me pretty good.
Okay, you have a question?
We're gonna hold that to the end, we just gotta move on to the next
Okay,
question.
that's fine.
So the next question, I think you kind of touched on it. If you feel the officer is genuinely in the wrong, how would you address the situation without escalating it?
Yeah, we pretty much covered it.
We covered it, so
Mm-hmm.
we'll go ahead and skip that one then. I think we answered this one.
One thing I'd like to add to, and again, it's us responding to things that we see on TV, and one of the big ones we see is, I want to see a supervisor. Bring me a supervisor to the scene here, and people get hung up on it. I want you to bring a supervisor here. Realistically, like, I know in the real world, and I can even speak for the Pennsylvania State Police, you're here at Lincoln University, supervisor might be in the northern part of the county or the northern part of the, like 20, 30 minutes away. So realistically, that doesn't really happen. And it's the best way for you to de-escalate the situation is, proceed with the incident and just follow up by calling that department or going online and filing your complaint. Because we get a lot of banter with the supervisor thing, and bring me your supervisor. You can pick up the phone and call and speak to that supervisor, after you're on the side of the highway or something.
If it's 3 o'clock in the morning here, please don't ask them to call Captain Carter.
Hope to see you guys Monday at the Noble meeting here at Lincoln, in this hall, at
5.
5 p.m. Okay. Please come, we have great information, we have good employment opportunities, and I just want to take a moment to share 2 graduate students from your school. Jasmine Curry, she's being hired by the FBI.
She's our president.
Our president from last year, she's being hired by the FBI. So, school, work, money. Amira Jackson is going through the final phase of being hired by the Newcastle County Police Department. So, we are working, but you guys have to. You guys are busy.
Down in Alexandria, Virginia, which is ahead of 31 chapters all over the world, actually. We come up with this way to keep you safe. And number one, they remember that, and I think we touched on it, not every police officer is out to get you. Come on, people, it looks bad on TV, but if he pulls you over and you have that attitude, things are not going to go well. And feel free to comment, panel. So that's number one. The biggest one on there, do not run if you're approached by the police. Nothing but bad things happen when you run. If you're afraid, just stand there. But when you take off running, and these officers will tell you, there is a presumption on that officer's part that you've done something wrong and you're dangerous. Why are you running?
I hear you saying why.
Okay, the state police pulls up on you, and you take off running. A couple of things. He's going to chase you. He's going to catch you. And he has to determine why you're running. his assumption may be if you've done something wrong, or there's a problem here somewhere, he's got to answer that. He just can't let you run off. If you've been identified by a citizen, or you're in an area where, you know, you perhaps shouldn't have been, or you were lost or something other, and the state car pulls in, don't run. Because there's gonna be the presumption, and correct me if I'm wrong, Al, that there's a problem here. Drugs on you, weapon on you, he doesn't know what you're doing. Do not run. Just stand there, keep your hands at your side, visible, and let that officer approach you and find out what the problem is. Number two is important, do
Can I say
not
something
run.
to that?
Sure, of course.
Another thing, I had a DUI where a guy fled the scene. He crashed his vehicle into a pole, and when I asked him why did he, no problem. When I asked him why did he flee, he said because he was drunk and he didn't want to get caught. Well, guess what? Now you're adding another charge on top of your misdemeanor. Now you have a felony.
So fleeing is a crime in itself.
Greg, I guess I'd like to hear also what
You-
you
what-
have to
what
think,
you
as
think.
you
Right,
said,
yeah.
why.
The only reason why is I just don't think, like if someone, well, in a car, I can understand why that's the problem. But if it's like, if they're on foot, like, I don't think it's always necessarily a bad reason why they run because, like in my old neighborhood, before I moved out to Pennsauken, I'm from New Jersey, South Jersey. Before I moved out to Pennsauken, I lived in Voorhees, and I used to hang outside a lot, and I would like just hang with all types of kids, and a lot of the kids in my neighborhood were raised that way, that to run from the cops. They were a lot of kids that I grew up with were raised to the point where they don't want to have no encounters with police under no circumstances. So they were taught to run, and I didn't know that at first. Like I asked them that later, like I called up to them and I was like, "Why'd y'all run?" And it's like, "This is what our dad told us to do."
Not a good idea.
No,
No,
that's not
So-
bad.
But you know what, you're right, a lot of people have been
Doing
told
that.
to run
Run. For no
instinctively,
reason.
right.
Which is why we're here, which is go back to your exact question,
Right.
why? And my question is, why put yourself
Right.
in further danger or further risk? It goes back to the exact question you asked, why? You know, and it's, we're here to try to keep you safe,
Yeah.
you know, and by running, no guarantee that the officer's gonna even chase you, but by doing that, you're putting yourself in an additional risk by running.
Also, his level, like Amy said, is gonna shoot through the ceiling. Because I've got a possible felon here, somebody who may be dangerous. I'm going to chase him. Is he armed? Knife? Gun? I'm in danger. Just stand there.
The officer could just be saying, hello.
That's why we're encouraging community policing,
Right.
to get to know the community gets to know you, so there's no fear of running. You see us in a
Yeah, and I
different
think
light.
I think that's important too.
Yes, sir.
I really agree with that.
Number three, do not use profanity or raise your voice.
Captain had something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I also grew up in Philly, and I'm a little older than some of the people on the panel.
Not much.
But-
Not much.
But when I was growing up, I understand what you're saying, like when the district cops showed up, we usually stayed where we were, but when the boot cops came, now, you may remember.
Highway.
Now, this was Philadelphia Highway Patrol back in the day.
Yeah.
This is not today,
Right.
and Detective Nelson was talking about the police culture. This was part of the police culture. When the boot cops showed up, we ran, because if we didn't run, we were gonna get beat up. You know, just for hanging on the corner, and that's the way it worked back in the day. So I can understand that, but you have to understand that police culture has, it's a rare thing nowadays.
Yeah.
So you are in a much better position. If you run, you give the officer not just the permission, but he has the obligation to pursue you.
Right.
So we ran because we knew why we were running. But you know, that's not a reason that's valid anymore.
Right.
You're much safer by not running.
Do not use profanity or raise your voice if stopped. Try to remain calm. Again, keeping your level down and the officer's level down. Cursing, being disrespectful something's not right here. Little things are turning in his mind from his training that there's a problem here somewhere. He hasn't figured it out yet, but he's on alert. There's something, this is not normal behavior for people to go off. He's trying to finish the ticket, trying to find out what's going on, trying to address the situation, and you are disrespecting him. try to stay calm. Number 3, keep your hands visible at all times. We can't stress that enough. You know they carry pot, you know they carry guns,
They need
knives.
to walk.
Right, they don't have to walk.
Had an officer on, I don't mean to cut you off, I
No,
have to
cut
say
me.
that. I had an officer on the job, he had to spend a lot of money getting his son out of trouble. His son was a stellar student, never been arrested. His friend came over, let's go for a ride. He said, okay. Where we going? Oh, I just need to stop over at so-and-so house for a minute. He went in there, shot so-and-so, came back just as calm, got back in the car, flash was given out, they stopped the car, couldn't determine who did the shooting, so he had to spend thousands of dollars to get his son out of something that he shouldn't have been in. So I say to you, all of you, know who you putting in your car. If they shaky, then they need a septic transplant when they on strike. But, you understand what I'm saying? Know your surroundings. Don't just let anybody jump in your car, because they don't know them. You don't know their motives.
And you are responsible as a driver. You.
And if it's your vehicle, and God forbid, if it's your mother's vehicle and it's confiscated.
Yeah. So, again, if you have that shaking for y'all been friends since high school, but the brother likes to carry a gun, he likes to carry his weed with him, septic transpass.
Same goes to when you borrow someone's car.
Yeah, no.
Know whose car you're borrowing, because I can't tell you how many times I've pulled someone over, there's been drugs in the car, and the car doesn't belong to them. Neither does the drug, but guess who's getting charged?
Yes,
The person who's driving the
that's
vehicle.
right.
The important thing too is college students, you're a year or 2 away from your career. For those of you who are interested in law enforcement, contact with the police resulted in arrests. It could be a major killer. And not just for law enforcement, accountants, I mean, some professions that
Right.
you go into,
Right.
that can be negative on, for your career. So you invest a lot of money in your college career and getting a criminal record, can potentially, it's
It's a
not good for
steeper
your
hill to
future.
climb.
You put yourself in position.
The FBI, 1 felony arrest, we can't take you. High misdemeanor, we're probably not gonna take you. So most of the agencies are like that. You're gonna get a polygraph when you go in these organizations. You wanna be able to talk to them and not have that arrest as part of your background. Number 7, know who and what is in your car when you're giving rides in probable cause. He will explain to you why you're being locked up.
He should.
He
And
should.
If he doesn't, that's a point for you.
Right, exactly right. But do not resist arrest. And finally, we talked about it before, to report police misconduct, call your police department. You have state representatives, you have the United States Attorney's Office on the federal side, you have the state's attorney, you have the district attorney. They have people who will take your complaint if you're not satisfied with a police response. But again, have your ducks in a row, you guys jump in, have when, where, how, a contemporaneous account of what happened to you. Don't think about what happened to, well, let me report that right now. It's been 2 months. Contemporaneous, as soon as you've been arrested, as soon as the incident is over, get a written, recorded on your phone, and badge, car, time, what was said, what you did, all of that has to be done, and we're all college students, so that's not gonna be a problem. And document it. And guess what that is at your trial, or you're wrongly taken in,